And, I think we need to elaborate on this tire thing,
Yeah.
before our questions and answers, because we had a lot of questions and a lot of
tires,
issues about these tires. So, the guys are running a bib mousse. It's a foam insert inside the tire, and it's there to prevent flats. And these things they're durable. They're as durable as the tire. Okay. So if you cut your tire, when they install the mousse, they put a bunch of lube around the mousse, and there has to be lube inside the tire to reduce the friction.
Sure.
Keep the mousse from heating up. But when you cut your tire, all of the centrifugal force from the wheel spinning, the lube flies out, and then the mousse is in there dry, and it starts to degrade. It starts to melt down, and then it gets soft. It gets smaller, and then that causes more damage to the tire.
It starts moving more, and more heat creates more damage, and more movement creates more heat, and it's just a snowball effect.
And then the tire sometimes will start to rip open,
Yeah.
and then in worst case, the mousse just flies out of the tire.
Yeah, we saw that with Michael Doherty yesterday.
Yep. And so really what they need to do is just avoid getting a cut in the tire. But, it's a gamble. You have so many rocks out there, and one sharp rock can cut the tire, and then...
And you're trying to race as fast as you can because you're in a competition.
Yeah, normally it'll make it one day, right? It'll get through one day. But when you have to start a second stage in a 300 plus kilometer stage with a tire that has a hole in it already, not a lot of
options.
Not a lot of options. You just kind of have to hope for the best and hope you get lucky.
I expected actually to have a few more people, out and just being like, well, there goes my race. But having Edgar go is a bit of a surprise. I didn't, Daniel was pretty confident when he finished yesterday that his tire was in pretty good shape. And he said so again today at his post-race interview. But I thought maybe the KTM boys had something figured out. But nobody's immune to the rocks and cuts out there. You can't really team your way out of this because everybody's running essentially the same tires. There's no special spec tire that somebody has that nobody else has.
No. Everybody's either on Metzler's or Michelin's, and it seems like they're both equally, kind of
with the rocks.
Yeah,
you're going to get a hole in your tire maybe.
And then the other question I think that we've seen is why don't they let them change their tire at the marathon bivouac? Like what's the reasoning behind this? And this is just basically history. It's nostalgia of the old Dakar when the Dakar was in Africa. And what would happen back in those days, the service teams had to follow the same course as the riders.
Yeah.
So, you would arrive at the bivouac, the service team was hours and hours behind you. Sometimes they didn't even arrive until maybe they didn't catch up for 2 or 3 days.
So you're on your own.
So you had to run a tire, you had to, and this was like the forced marathon, and you didn't, maybe they knew that, they were probably going to have a tough time catching up.
Yeah.
And, many times they didn't catch up. And so you were just forced to continue on with no service. And so this is the ASO kind of holding on to that nostalgia from the original Dakar, what made Dakar what it is.
It's all cool and romantic.
Exactly. And so they're forcing these guys to do this, but
it's mean.
At the same time, this is a high level motorsports. These guys are risking their lives. It's
speed's high.
They're top athletes in the world. Right. And it's not the adventure that it was 40 years ago with just some, kind of
nomads bouncing across the desert.
Guys on, whatever motorcycles they could round up and go on an adventure in Africa. It's a much different sport now. So that's always kind of brought up a little bit of controversy of, is it safe to have these top level athletes competing on equipment, starting a stage on equipment that should not be allowed to start, would never be allowed to start any form of motorsports. Right.
Yeah, that is an interesting.
You go to MotoGP with a half worn out tire and a hole in it, and you say, "Yeah, I'm ready to line up on a
race today."
Yeah,
that wouldn't happen.
No, it's not happening.
Any sport. Yeah, and I don't think there's anybody in contention that thinks this is a great idea and a lot of fun.
Yeah,
they all think, "Well, I got to do it because that's what the F I am, and that's what they're making me do." But everybody's got to do it. So I'm gonna be the best at it. And I'm not going to show any weakness, but I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Yeah. So
what do you think? Do you think it's stupid?
I mean, it's a little bit of like this kind of
holding
contrived, contrived authenticity, right?
Yeah,
you're kind of making it up, right? It's not real. It's forced, and so I mean, I think that they should be allowed to, or they should be kind of forced to rough it a little bit more, but. At the same time, I mean,
it's changed so much.
Yeah, it's changed so much. They're sleeping in motorhomes in the bivouac and this and that. So I don't know. It's a tough call.
Go one way or the other.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I say make them conserve their tire. Make them run on the same tire.
Yeah, I mean, it changed the game today. Mm-hmm. It shook up the standings, and it made it a little bit tighter race in a lot of ways. It eliminated that big jump. From time. And I don't know, let's get some quotes and hear what other people think. Nobody cares what we think.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's hear what the racers think. Let's hear from stage winner Luciano first.
Yeah, it was really, really tough day. Stage number 5, Dakar 2026. Was the second part of the marathon, so yeah, the rear tires of all the bikes were completely destroyed, and the mousses inside were quite cooked and with many holes, so start to get all the liquid out from the tires. So today was a day where you really have to take care about the tire and the mousse. But yeah, I did a good job. At the beginning, I did some mistakes of navigation. I get lost a little bit. I think everyone did some mistakes. Then Edgar catch me. Then I passed him again, and then I had a high-speed crash in front of him, where I luckily didn't happen nothing crazy, nothing bad. So I started full gas again behind Edgar. We were pushing, and after I passed him again, and looks like he had a big problem with the mousse. And then I say in the second refueling, I saw that my tire was more or less okay. So it was only 90 kilometers to the finish, and I said, okay, today has to be my day. I have to go all in and try to get some time from the leaders. So then I push until I catch Sanders. So we finished together, and overall it was a good day.
How was Daniel's tire?
Daniel was, more or less like my one. Like the mousse inside are quite destroyed, because at the end was like 750 kilometers of stage on that mousse, and the conditions were not sand only, was a lot of rocks, and it's not. It's also was a little bit of luck. You cannot really see when you are hitting a rock, and then it's really like, I don't know, like anything can happen super quick.
And how's this first week kind of being compared to other years, other rallies? Seems like it's been tough.
It's been tough, but Dakar, it's always like that. Every year I say the same, always hard stage, super hard, super difficult stage. So I think it's normal, like in a Dakar, but for me it's been more easy in terms of feelings, because I feel much more comfortable on the bike. So when you have that feeling, it takes a lot of energy out from the body, let's say, and then it's much more easy to ride, and you enjoy much more. But of course, it's been super long stages, it's super tough physically and mentally. The roadbook, you have so many notes. Now with the digital roadbook, they add many notes. So after 400 Ks, your brain is cooked. So not bad for me. Normally my first weeks are not so good and not so strong, and so far it's been quite good.
And the leg? Seems like it's pretty good.
Yeah, the leg and the shoulder. I had a recent injury from Morocco. I have no ACL, meniscus also damaged, and also here. The shoulder is a little broken, but I think I did a really good recovery. Of course, I'm not 100% fit like I wanted to arrive, but I'm just trying to do my best and my 100% from what I have on my body. So and also this injury, I think, keeps me more focused on me and on what I have to really do for me. And I don't care about the rest, so this is positive.
Well, we appreciate your time. Good luck out there. Bring it into rest day.
Thank you so much. Thank you for following. I always watch your content, so thank you. And we're gonna keep pushing, and we are still on the fight, so let's go.
Let's hear from Daniel. He's got some good stuff all the time.
Yeah, look, it was a different marathon stage, that's for sure. We had to actually manage the bike and the tyres a bit. So at the first refuel yesterday, I lost a lot of time, and then I looked at the tyres and I knew that was going to be a problem. So we had to try and manage it today. And last night it was still okay, and then got to the first refuel and the crack was getting bigger. So it was really important to not destroy the tyre as everyone else was limit with a lot of riders. So I just took it easy in the middle part, and then I just got through to the end really. So just happy to not lose too much time and manage the situation, because it could have ended your race today.
One day late to the race day, what to try tomorrow?
I didn't even know we're nearly at the rest day. It's just day by day, you just don't even think about it. So it's nearly halfway point. So we'll get through tomorrow, and it's going to be an important day. We'll see how everything's at and what the stage is looking like. But the last week's still going to be a very big one, and the race isn't over yet. So still lots of racing to go.
Sanders seems super solid. He's experienced and riding really well. Leading the rally now by just 2 minutes over Ricky Brabec.
Right where he wants to be.
Yeah, and
where he wants to be.
I feel like we have a quote from Ricky here too.
Yeah, we got some quotes from Ricky here.
Run that.
It was good. It was a long day up front. Actually, both days. I started second 2 days in a row. So it was difficult out there for sure. This morning was a little bit difficult navigation in these big flat rocks. I think me and Tasha made a mistake in the same area, and we never saw it. I never saw his line, and I think, hopefully it caught others out as well. But no, it was tricky this morning. But at the end of the day, I knew people had to take care of their equipment and their tires. My tires ended up being perfectly fine for the 2 days. So we'll see where we are tomorrow. I know the overall times are super tight, but it's fun. I got to ride 2 days in a row with my teammate Tasha, and tomorrow let's see what happens. I heard there's some sand dunes, so I think to be a little bit back is actually not terrible.
Could you tell us why you use the Michelin tires and your teammate use the Michelin tires? Is it a personal choice? You can do what you want?
Yeah, it's more or less a personal choice. I just feel a little bit more comfortable with the Michelins, and haven't had the best of luck with the rally tires that they're running. So I just stuck to what I know here in the rally style racing, and it seems to be working out really well. I'm really happy with how they're performing.
Just personal preference there on tires, and again, he got lucky with no tire problems.
Yeah, he's pretty controlled rider. He rides a gear higher than a lot of guys, and he's not a big rever, so doesn't have a whole lot of wheel spin, and so I think that's obviously works out in his favor. It's cool to see him and Daniel now. They're both veterans. They're both super strong guys, and they just seem so headstrong and so solid, and it's fun to watch their interviews, because they're the top of the sport right now, and it's gonna be a battle.
It's gonna be a battle
for sure.
Whoever can limit those mistakes and not get frustrated and not get kind of in their head. That's gonna be the key. They're both, like you said, really in a good space.
Yeah.